This episode of Speakers of Eidolon is made possible by our generous patrons like Chris, Craig Marshall, Bellafray Dragontooth, Clinway, Metalligo Phaleon, Amara May, Adam James, Dan Wilkerson, Christoph Haas, Centra, Amy Veras, Infinitron, Casey Schaefer, Alex Bells, and Omega Cat Comet. Support the show and become a patron today at patreon.com/speakersxiv.
This is Speakers of Eidolon.
Good evening, Aorcians. Welcome to Speakers of Eidolon, episode 52. I am Lukile Bravestone, and I am joined today by Yazz and my Lavanda. Woo! Flawless intro as usual. Today we're going to talk about live letter 36? No, sorry, 38. 38. Is it 38? It is 38, right? I suddenly didn't. I can't remember. It is 38. It says so on the to-do list. So we're going to talk about that. There's a lot of job changes coming up, as well as some other neat little details that we have to discuss. Also, for those of you watching live, so we're testing the audio today. So if the audio starts going up and down, just scream in chat, because I don't want that to happen again. So we're going to have to figure out how to stop it from happening. So we're going to talk about the live letter. We're going to talk about DDoS attacks continuing on the North American data centers. PvP botting, we just barely talked about it last week, but since then it has gone pretty mental. And lastly, we're going to discuss a Polygon article published, I can't remember when it was published, a couple of days ago, claiming that an outspoken group of players are calling for a nerf of the Shinryu fight. So that's a hot potato in the community right now. First, channel updates as usual. Secrets of a Realm, released on Thursday. This is not going to be a weekly series. I realized that as I was doing it, because it required a lot more work than I had planned. So that's not going to be... I think it's going to be more like a monthly, maybe bi-weekly. Yeah, I'm going to figure that out. So because it just pushed Remnants all the way out of the schedule. So Remnants will be out on... I think it will be out on Monday, because the script and everything is ready. So and our website, speakersxiv.com, starting official service. Soft start today. Our writers team has grown to a decent size. It's still open for writers, so if you want to join the team, you're more than welcome.
Also, come be a moderator. We need you. We
need moderators too. Actually, we need moderators more than we need writers at this point. So if you want to mod our chat, send us a message on either our email account, speakersofeidolon@gmail.com, or just send us a DM on Discord. Also the website, it's the purpose of the website is sort of to act like an extension of the podcast, and a way to stay up to date on Final Fantasy XIV community content. So we'll see where it goes. I'm excited to see where it goes in the future. Now, main content, live letter 38. Naoki Yoshida, he had a cold today, I think, because he started the stream by just coughing. That was like the first, yeah. And it was quite the start of the live letter, because they immediately started talking about strength on accessories. So they basically answered questions. And the first question was, currently some tanks stack strength on their accessories to increase their DPS. Are changes planned for tank accessories themselves? Because that's a healer's worst nightmare, is to get like a tank in just full strength accessories that does heavy pulls or big pulls.
I was gonna do it, but then I was like, nah, I'll just meld strength to the bit here. I'll be nice.
Yeah, because I mean, usually the people that do the strength gear melds, or not melds, but the strength that does all that strength gear stuff. They think that they can DPS so hard that they can pull massive amounts of mobs.
It doesn't make that much of a difference.
It
makes
is
a difference, but not. Yeah.
It is death. So the answer Yoshi P came with was, we have been introducing adjustments in Tuesday's patch 405. We have received feedback from tanks regarding continuing to equip item level 270 accessories. This puts more stress on the healers, and a lack of it may become an issue as we enter Savage. However, top players may be able to clear even under those conditions, so we worry that that will become the norm. As a result, we have decided to add a minimum amount of strength to accessories when level syncing. Only tanks will have strength stacked up, but we will overlook this for content up through 3.x. Item levels will increase in coming updates, but strength will not scale the same as VIT. So we would like you to keep that in mind. Yeah.
I don't know. To me, it's they got to add enough strength onto these things that it's going to be worth it. Like, if they don't add more strength than what's on the 270 accessories, then people are still going to wear the 270 accessories.
Yeah.
So I don't, off the top of my head, know how much strength is on the 270 accessories, but it's got to be more than that.
Yeah, it's...
Well, at some point, they're not going to be able to get into content anymore because of the eye level drop, so maybe that's just going to lock them out eventually. Just force them.
They'll
That's
just
true.
increase the item level requirement on everything just to keep them out. Yeah, I mean, eventually that will happen, yeah. Maybe they'll just... You know what they'll do then? They'll just equip the correct gear, and then in the dungeon they'll just switch back to their strength setup.
I mean, they could do that, yeah. That's true. Why'd you have to give them that idea?
I'm just making it worse for myself. Yeah, we'll see how that works. I feel like, I mean, it's obvious that they want... I mean, this whole thing is just so fucked because they should have just given them... They should have just returned to the vitality thing that they had going.
I agree.
Well,
They seem so opposed to it now, though. They're like, it was a terrible idea.
yeah.
Tanks are going to have way too much health.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make any sense,
Yeah,
man.
but now they have too little. Now they...
Yeah.
Tenacity attribute. Let's talk about the other great thing. The tenacity attribute for tanks affects the attack and healing potency and is very powerful. However, it feels like the effectiveness is somewhat held back. Could you please explain why it is set up this way? Since it is very useful, we have held back the effect a bit. If we made it stronger, players would end up only focusing on this attribute. I believe players will be able to feel the effects of tenacity once the Savage mode of Omega launches next week. What do you think about this, Yazz? This is true?
No, it's not true.
I'm a little bit...
How much vitality or how much tenacity do they think we're going to put on our gear? It's like 1% per hundreds of points.
Yeah. Yeah.
For it to be anything good, we're going to need like multiple thousands of tenacity. And there's 0% chance that that's going to outweigh direct hit right now. Because direct hit is so good on tanks.
Yeah.
No. No.
Yeah. I find that was a bit of a weird question.
Yeah. I love how they say, it's really good. It's awesome. Like they're trying to convince themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't really care too much about that question, but if you're interested in tenacity, I mean, we might see it. I mean, if Yoshi P is right, we might see it become useful in Omega Savage.
I can't imagine 1% is going to make much of a difference.
I agree.
Especially because I think tanks are defensive enough as is right now. Like, once they're wearing Vitality gear again, of course, which you should be going into Savage, at least at the beginning of Savage.
Yeah.
once you have enough health to survive everything, what difference does 1% healing make? Like doesn't do anything. 1% damage sounds great, but if you put direct hit, you're having a way bigger damage increase.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Doesn't.
Neither do I.
Doesn't seem good to me.
So currently Paladin, this is the next question about Paladin. Currently Paladin feels like it excels both in offensive and defensive capabilities. Are there any plans for adjustments to Warrior and Dark Knight? The first line here is, we will be increasing Warrior and Dark Knight damage. Making the cast time for Paladin's Holy Spirit so short made it too powerful. So we will be making adjustments around that point. We'll also be removing the reduction in the oath gauge when switching oaths.
I think that actually what they meant to say is you don't lose the defiance penalty anymore.
Right.
Like when they said oath gauge, but in all the unofficial translations it said the beast gauge instead is what they meant.
Okay.
Because that wouldn't really make any sense. Hey guys, yeah, we messed up Warrior, so we're gonna give Paladin no loss when they switch stand. That wouldn't make any sense. Which honestly, alone would boost Warrior's damage so much.
Yeah.
It like that was the biggest loss for Warriors. I mean, this is kind of heresy as a Paladin to say it. Paladin shouldn't be doing the most damage right now.
Yeah.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't be like as far back as it was in the entire past.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be doing more. Like it's a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah. I agree.
So if they could bring up like, I would say Warrior needs to be at the top by just a little bit. Dark Knight needs to be just below that, and Paladin needs to be just below that. All within a spread of like 100 DPS or something. Like not much at all. But in order of how much utility they bring, I think that's only fair.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I also don't. I think a lot of Paladins are freaking out right now, going, they're going to nerf Holy Spirit into the ground. I don't think they're going to.
Yeah.
It might be like a 10 potency difference. It's going to be, everyone, it's going to be fine. Everything's going to be okay.
Relax. It's not the end yet. So Warriors Shake It Off will be adjusted. Plans for adjustments are currently being talked over and will be implemented sometime after 4.05. What is the Shake It Off one again? I haven't leveled Warrior yet. Does anyone know?
Like makes them, it cures like 30 statuses. It's a huge amount of statuses.
Oh.
And can be used while under those status effects. Like if you could put to sleep or something, you can use it.
Oh.
It's considered very useless right now.
Right.
So I don't know what they're gonna do, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. We have removed the halving of the beast gauge when changing. Yeah, we talked about this.
Oh, apparently it doesn't cure stun though.
It doesn't cure stun. Huh.
Okay, I didn't know that. That is
makes
bad.
it even more useless.
Yeah, it does.
Additionally, the potency during Storm's Path combo will be increased starting 405.
Makes sense.
And then, just for Dark Knight will see potency increases in combo damage. So
I think specifically the Soul Eater combo.
Yeah, I believe that was what they said. Okay, so the next one. This is... this one is a good one. With role actions, each of the jobs are now able to take various roles. Here we go. I can hear the salt. The salt is coming back. However, for healers, there are important role actions such as Protect and Asuna, so I'm having trouble deciding on what to set. Do you have any plans to increase the amount of role actions that can be set? And the answer is just gold. Since players can select the actions, we have no plans to do this. However, during 4.0 we discussed on what to do with Protect. We discussed that in actuality it doesn't matter if it's there or not, but we ultimately decided to leave it in. Please continue to leave your feedback regarding things like this. Did he just downplay Protect?
He did, and I totally agree with him.
Doesn't protect against 20% damage?
What he's saying though is that since it's always required,
Oh
It's
yeah,
not
they shouldn't.
really-
Yeah,
Right. That it doesn't need to be there. Like they could just lower the amount of damage that things do by 20% or whatever protect does, and then you just wouldn't need it. That being said, if you want to have your mind blown, discover the beauties of macros, and then you can just click one button, you'll have protect.
Mm.
You cast protect, you click another button, you don't have protect anymore.
Oh really? You can do that?
Yeah, you can make some really nice macros.
True. Although I have to say this weird, because I think it's Yoshi has this weird because he didn't like Stone Skin, and he eventually got that out of the game, and now he's telling us that they kind of didn't want Protect either. Like, I feel like at least as a white mage, you're supposed to have protective spells. Right now we have Divine Bention, and that's it.
Yeah.
And that one's pretty shit.
I don't know. Divine Benison's
compared to Stone Skin.
Well, I think it's better than Stone Skin.
It requires a Lily to be cast.
Right, but you can just cast Cure 2 and then throw it up.
I will never forgive the
And
fact
it's free.
that they threw
Costs no MP.
that is
30
true.
seconds,
That
man.
is true.
30 seconds, that's good.
But we had just gotten Stone Skin 2. Just got it, and then they removed it. Shit. Anyway, enough salt for today. Yeah, I still disagree with them though. That I feel like what they did with the job role thing was wrong. They just stole most of White Mage's abilities and then sold it back to us, and we couldn't even get all of them.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah, well, we already talked enough about that. It was explained that in patch 4.0, the focus was to reduce the large DPS disparity, but certain jobs feel more reliant on player skill than others. Are certain jobs intended to maintain that difference? That's a valid question. One of the main concepts of 14 is that when playing a job, you experience the uniqueness of that job, except when you play a healer. Due to this, there is a difference in difficulty between the jobs, and it used to be that a higher difficulty meant more DPS. We will be scaling down this factor.
I'm against that.
Yeah.
The more difficult the job is, the more DPS it should do. That's a given.
Yeah, I agree with that. To
Well,
a certain extent.
When
now that I
played
think
well,
about
when
it.
played masterfully, a more skilled job should out DPS a low skilled job. It just makes sense.
Yeah, I guess.
I think there's another factor in there. If for a more complicated job, it should bring at least the same amount of DPS if done correctly. If it's factoring in like utility as well, I'm okay with it doing about the same. You know what I mean? Like if it's bringing something crazy to the table, I'm totally okay with that. But I mean, it kind of does seem like all the hardest jobs are not really doing. Like Dragoon is. I just finished leveling Dragoon, and at 70, which I think this is coming up.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's not super hard, but it's I would say one of the more complicated jobs, and it's doing some pretty not good DPS.
Yeah.
All right, that's the next question.
Okay, when comparing... Here we go. When comparing Dragoon to other DPS jobs, for the amount of difficulty there is to play them, their DPS seems low. I understand that Dragoon has strong support actions such as Battle Litany, but do you have any plans to make adjustments so that Dragoon can deal strong damage on their own, similar to how it was in 3.x? So it doesn't say so here, but basically Yoshi P sort of acknowledged, I think, that Dragoon was doing pretty poorly. When it comes to increasing their damage, we'll make adjustments by expanding on aspects that allow players to experience the uniqueness of the job. Yeah, Dragoon is not in a good place right now. So, I mean, even when Yoshi P sort of acknowledged that it wasn't performing as well as they had hoped, sort of confirmed it for us that it does need a buff.
It does. Maybe even just like, I don't know, combo potency upgrade, something like that, like something simple.
Yeah.
Because I think the job is fun, and the way it plays is pretty neat.
Yeah. We'll see. I'm guessing it's going to get a lot of buffs then come Tuesday. So
I don't think it'll get an absurd amount of buffs. I do think it'll probably still do less damage than a lot of other
really?
jobs. Yeah, because I mean, obviously Litany's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon's Sight or Gate, whatever the tether is called, is pretty good. I mean, it's a damage increase for whoever you tether it to. They have the piercing debuff, the only people that can put up piercing debuffs, which is great for ranged.
Yeah.
It has a lot of utility. So I don't think it should be doing that much DPS. I think should be maybe just below, just a tiny bit below some of the other ones.
Right. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see on Tuesday for Dragoon, but definitely needing a little bit of a helping hand. The new Monk skill, Riddle of Fire, is a very powerful buff, but because the effect increases the GCD, it's very we talked about this before the stream, but it says that it's very stressful to play because it increases the GCD. Monk had a feeling of speedy combat, so if adjustments are possible, please implement them.
Is there any monks in chat that can explain to us what's stressful about it?
Yeah.
So I have Monk leveled. I didn't find it stressful at all. I thought it felt awesome, actually. So if there's any monks that can explain what they're referring to, I would like to know.
Yeah. While the monks in chat do that, we can take Yoshipi's answer, which was, we were considering a Greased Lightning 4, but we felt it would become too fast and widen the gap between player DPS even further. We believe it may be difficult to understand the weapon skill recast time increase without trying it out in Savage. It may be easier to understand during longer fights.
I would love a Grease Lightning 4. I would love that. That would be so great.
That would be pretty neat. Yeah. So, if there are any requests despite this, did I say this? We will consider them. For the moment, things are somewhat complete, so we would like to ask for feedback after players have tried Savage. So maybe after Savage we get a Greased Lightning 4. Probably not. From patch 4.0, cards that you draw from your Etherflow stacks. Wait, sorry, what? Oh, sorry. From patch 4.0, cards that you draw and your Etherflow stacks aren't displayed on the party list anymore. Because of this, if the party has 2 Astrologians or Scholars, we cannot check each other's status, and this is very inconvenient. Do you have any plans to revert this so the status can be checked through the party list? So, okay, because this, I believe, is an actual... I think this is really annoying that they changed this. And the answer is weird too. I believe this is mainly an issue when matched using the Duty Finder. Well, let me just say before we go on here, aren't most of... I mean, we use the Duty Finder like 90% of the time we play this game.
Does that include the Party Finder? Because you have that issue with Party Finder too.
Yeah. I mean, you have that with anything. I don't understand. Okay, so he goes on. The difficulty is set, so you don't have to be particular about the status. However, I've been told by someone who's particular with their job that they want to make sure that they aren't the same as their partner. We're looking at each of the jobs, and we're thinking of reverting it so that players can check the status of Scholar, Etherflow, and which card Astrologians have drawn. However, we aren't able to make it in by patch 4.05, so it'll be in 4.1. Please wait a bit longer on this. We're also looking into a situation where there are 2 white mages in the party. Okay, wait. I'm just going to save that one. Let's just finish this part first.
Yeah. It's funny because the whole not showing cards thing actually includes a secondary problem, which they address later on in the live letter. But there's more than one problem than just that. It's specifically cards. I mean, Aetherflow stacks bothers me too because I'm like, I'll go to pull something and I'm like, well, I don't know how many lustrates they have. Maybe should I do a big pull or am I gonna die immediately? Like, it would be nice to know.
I don't understand. Like, I don't understand why they removed them. Was it to make? What did they make room for? Like, make room to be able to see more of the negative status effects? Maybe. I
guess I don't know. I mean, I think they were just like they're like it's on your gauge. It doesn't.
Yeah, but other people need to see. I mean, even as a DPS, like I get excited if I see whatever the astrologian card is called,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
Increases your
Balance.
not balance. What's the other one?
Oh,
Then? The
arrow?
speed one, arrow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very excited as a black mage seeing that coming up.
Yeah.
hmm
I
Yeah.
played this game. I know what the skills are called.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why they decided to do that, especially after they specifically said, "Hey, we're not going to take away the tank things because those are important to see."
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's equally as important to see how much resources your healer has or what resources your healer has as it is to see what stance the tank is in, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I find those to be pretty equal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And especially if you're in an 8-man situation where maybe there are 2 astrologians
Mhm.
and the
Does it-
yeah.
Does it still show like what sect you're in?
Oh, I haven't even. I think it does. Does it? Yeah, I think it does.
I think it does.
Yeah.
Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But
Can-
yeah, I think all that information is useful, personally.
It still
shows sect.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, like, I don't know. I don't understand it.
Me
I don't
neither.
understand it.
You know what else I don't understand? Plenary indulgence. We're also looking at a situation where there are 2 white mages in the party and they have trouble telling which confession stack is which.
That makes sense. What does it not like you know how like they'll have like a green timer on
It has a
yours?
green timer, but
But that's it.
that's
I mean,
it.
that's
So you have
oh.
to look for that, and in a very stressful situation, it's very difficult to. I mean, it's just inconvenient. I don't understand why they should have had, instead of the fucking lilies, they should have had some indicator telling you that your plenary indulgence is building up, your confession stacks are up.
right.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they'll fix that. We'll get to that. We're going to talk a little bit more about healers. We're going to talk about Scholar now. Scholar went... What? Scholar went through... yeah, Scholar went through... Wait, I lost my... Wait, where am I? Oh, where am I? I'm very confused.
Do you want me to read it, Lukile?
Scholar went through many changes, having lost a dot, the damage lost from AoE due to the Bane rework, and nerfs to the fairy healing. In comparison to the other healers, it feels like they have lost quite a bit. Are there any plans for adjustments? So, we already know this. It turned out that Scholar was more fucked than White Mage.
Yeah.
So the answer was, after balancing the 3 healing jobs, the fairy's healing was still too powerful. Therefore, we decided to go in the direction of lowering the fairy's healing potencies. However, by reducing what they could do, their AoE damage also went down. We have made adjustments in 4.05, and they provided us with a list of changes to all the healers.
Just saying, we got to nerf chocobos. They heal too well.
Yeah. Scholar. The introduction of Miasma 2 as a job-specific skill. I feel like they kind of did that because Scholar was sort of known as the dot job, and after what they did, it had just as many dots as a white mage and an astrologian almost, I think. So they just gave that one back. That's nice. That's more damage, although I think Miasma 2 is very low damage. But
I was going to say, I feel like they kind of have to buff it.
Yeah, maybe they will.
Because I'm pretty sure it was 5 potency damage over time before. And that doesn't seem... I don't know. Especially with the Bane nerfs, I feel like you could probably get away with, actually giving it like maybe even 10 potency, right? That would be fine. Something like that.
And Miasma 2 is an AoE damage thing as well.
Yeah,
so
like
that's good.
around you. Yeah.
I just noticed in chat, that answer made no sense to me. Scholar's Fairy heals too much, so we nerf their damage. Adjustments in 405.
That's a really good point.
They also changed the cooldown of emergency tactics to 20 seconds. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a nice thing they did there. God, this name, Do it, yes. Say the name.
Indomitability.
Yeah, stay tuned. That's
Did I do it right?
Yeah, were you asking me? yeah, you did.
Probably.
Why do they have these names? Strengthening exogitation.
Excogitation.
Yeah,
Excogitation.
You can barely say it. Change the range of Fey Union. This one has to be a typo.
No, it's real. It's real.
Change the range of Fey Union to 15 moms.
15 miles, boys. We did it. That's like, is there even an area in the game that's 15 moms? Like, is there anything that big in the game?
That is very long. So, please, I hope it's correct. Ether Pact has been changed to increase fairy gauge even when ether flow actions does not inflict an effect on the target. Nice.
I guess.
But this is the one that I'm not too sure about. Introduction of a trait reducing the cooldown of ether flow. So to me, the main problem with Scholar is ether flow, because it runs out of MP too fast. They did not even mention Adloquium or Sucker or any of those.
Even really any
MP.
Right.
Yeah. Instead, they want to reduce the cooldown of ether flow. Introduction of a trait reducing the cooldown of ether flow. They have to reduce it by a lot, like 10-second cooldown, so they can just keep spamming it.
I mean, as we were talking, we mentioned this before the show. There's already a trait that does that. It's just a very low chance of it actually triggering. I think it's 20% every time you use it, and it has to affect the target. Like, you can't just like lustrate yourself in between a fight. Maybe you can. I don't know. I don't think so. But it's a 20% chance. So
yeah,
I mean, you're using 3 every minute, and you have a chance of getting 10 seconds off. That's not great. Maybe that means that they're going to change it to be more like the warriors trait, which is anytime you use, I think it's a handful of their beast gauge skills, it's a guaranteed reduction on Infuriate. Maybe that's...
Yeah, maybe. Because we also said this, don't they already have a trait that reduces the cooldown of ether flow? Yeah.
Yeah, it's 20% chance, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one you said, yeah. Oh, it's also that's the... Okay. Huh. I thought that was like in addition to a cooldown reduction. Okay. This one too, Astrologian. I didn't even think about that this was the thing, but... Yeah,
this was the problem I was saying earlier, because it's not on the hotbar anymore.
Yeah. Arcana and Royal Road cards can now be discarded via an action. Action?
Well, because before you could discard them, you'd have to right-click them off.
Yeah.
You can't right-click them off anymore.
Because that's because of the job gauge, I guess?
The job gauge, exactly. And the fact that it's not on your status list. So they have to make a skill for you to get rid of these things now. Yeah. It's pretty shitty.
That's amazing. Okay. And then there's White Mage. Adjustments to the rate of which healing lilies are granted. What?
Just gonna make it 100% on Cure 1 as well now? Like,
I don't see why it's not, to be honest. But hey, the next one is good.
Here we go.
This plenary indulgence will see some major adjustments, and the fact that they say major adjustments gives me hope. That.
How are you feeling about that?
I don't want to get too hyped for it. I hope it's not just Yoshi P overhyping stuff, because he has a tendency to do that. Because major adjustment might just mean they increase the percentage at which you get a confession stack by 10%.
Or maybe no timer.
I didn't even want to think about that, but yeah, that could very possibly happen. Oh god, that would be nice.
I would love that so much.
That would solve everything. I would like that and some sort of visual indicator to tell me that my confession stacks are building up on someone. That would be nice. But yeah, they didn't give us any specifics here, so let's hope it's the removal of the timer. I don't want the timer. Go away. Demi Bahamut is quite large. Do you have any plans to make adjustments for his size or transparency? This is a problem. Because Demi Bahamut is huge, and sometimes it's hard to see the boss. Especially if you have multiple summoners summoning Demi Bahamut at the same time. That's a nightmare. So he answered that we'll make it so that you can change the size of Demi Bahamut using a text command. I'm sure there will be players who would like the size to remain as is, so we're making it so that players can adjust the scale on their own. However, we won't be able to make it by patch 4.05. So that's good, because I would assume that summoners would get really pissy if they made it like globally smaller.
Yeah.
So that was a nice compromise there.
Exactly what Red Mage said in chat. Everybody's like, we need big summons. No, we get big summons. And everybody's like, this fucking sucks, dude. I can't see anything.
Sustain was very useful in some content. I would like to know why this was removed. Yeah. I kind of agree there. I don't understand why they did that. Let's listen to the answer then. We had it set so that pets would take reduced damage from enemies, and we figured it wouldn't be an issue as long as players don't place the pets directly in front of the enemy. However, there were some players that used it quite a lot, so we would like to discuss some more with the dev team. I know from a lot of fights where I was a scholar that my pet would die, because they don't move out of AoEs, and sometimes they die. And you could easily avoid that with what's it called again? I keep it sustain. And then it's just gone. I feel like is that sort of added to the pet class element, because you're sort of taking care of the pet.
Yeah, I agree.
So it was weird to me that they removed it. It does seem like they were considering putting it back in some form.
I think you touched on something really, really like accurate there, where these things felt more like pet classes, but like they got rid of, I forget the ability, Spur. They got rid of Spur for summoners, and Sustain, which is kind of like a big part of you controlling your pet.
Yeah.
So I kind of found that strange, where now pretty much as a summoner, you just, I mean, obviously you can control their abilities, but really all you do now is click rouse and whatever, I can't remember the name of the one to make it do its ultimate thing. Those are the only two buttons you click.
Yeah.
As far as that's related to your pet whatsoever. And scholars, like, you just say, hey, go tie yourself to that person. That's pretty much all you do, and then hit rouse. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you're very right. It's like they're trying to make it not feel like a pet class anymore.
Which is weird, because I mean, it is a pet class. It's supposed to be
Maybe you should be micromanaging your pet and removing him from AoEs via the move command.
Oh,
please. That is
why, Maela?
I mean, yeah. They should have I mean, it's not like the pet is a zombie. Like, lore-wise, the pets are, well, at least in the scholar and the fairies, they have a mind of their own. They should have had some sort of system where they would actually dodge AoEs.
I think the problem there, though, is what if they were canceling their casts, right?
True. Yeah, I see that. Okay, yeah, I see that being a problem. That's probably why they don't move. But still, give us sustain back. Okay, so Red Mage's Vercure is affected by the int attributes, but would it be possible to change Summoner's physic so that the cure potency changes with int? And I love like how no bullshit answer here. Red Mage was born from both white and black magic. However, Summoner is different. Summoner can raise players, while black mages cannot. This is part of their role. If we made it so that all jobs can do everything, every job will just become the same, and I don't think that's how a game should be. So that was pretty hands down.
I agree.
Yeah.
But also I don't agree at the same time, because it's kind of a bullshit answer. Because Red Mage born from white and black. True. Summoner is born from Arcanist, which can either be a healer or a DPS.
Yeah.
Whatever, I agree. It shouldn't be. I think the more important question is, where's Black Mage's heals? They got rid of Physic.
Yeah, that is.
Give them Physic back.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. But like, I mean, that's.
They have
kind of along.
They have
the
that
same
good crossed roll thing. What it's called? What's it called again?
drain.
Yeah, drain.
Oh god, Drain. Drain is awful.
Dude, it's so good.
Oh, it's such a waste of time.
It's good in Palace solo.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's the only thing you can cast unless you're at full health, because otherwise you're losing health and you have to keep casting it to try and catch
no,
back up.
you're 100% right.
Awful.
It's just like an emergency heal to wait for the other players to come and save you, I guess.
It doesn't even do that much.
It's not an emergency. It's just a way of prolonging death.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
Oh, okay. So now we're going to talk about Black Mage then. There are other job adjustments, and now we're going to go with, Black Mage. We also made a couple of adjustments, which Black Mage players will understand. Also, when doing their skill rotations, there are moments where they lose all their MP, so we're making some adjustments to the MP. So MP cost for foul has been removed. Recast time for triple cast has been reduced from 90 to 60 seconds. And recast time for Fire 4 and Blizzard 4 has been reduced from 3 to 2.8 seconds.
Maela, does having no MP cost for foul really do anything?
No, because it was like 240 before.
Yeah,
it was
so
nothing.
up.
I always cast it when I was in Umbral anyway, so I was always regenerating.
Exactly.
MP.
Yeah, I found that really strange.
So that's not fun. But the triple cast reduce is very nice.
Yeah, that's quite a significant reduction too.
And I still don't understand.
No, I don't understand that recasting for.
Yeah, that's
Fire 4 and Blizzard 4.
0.2 second off.
At first, I read it as they're lowering Fire 4's cast time to be the same as its recast time, so that if you don't play Black Mage, it's longer than your global cooldown by a little bit. But they're talking about recast time, so I don't know. Maela, you said something about like clipping sometimes.
It can clip a little bit. I don't understand it though. As it being I mean, as cast time, I can understand because there are times where, because you're now based on your 13 seconds, you do run out of Umbral or Astral and drop an Okian. But it just doesn't make any. Why? What does it mean? Why are they doing that?
I don't know.
It's not making it worse, but it's not doing anything.
Right. Yeah.
I believe they said something about the fact that you couldn't cast as many of these as you could before.
No, you couldn't. You can't cast as many Fire 4s as you used to be able to.
So
really,
this is done to make sure that you can, apparently.
Yeah, but
it doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
so I don't understand the argument he came with there. So yeah, I don't know.
Unless that's a typo and they do mean cast time, I don't know.
It might be.
Hopefully.
They also made adjustments to Ninja. Potency for Gust Slash will be reduced. It's that we're looking at a nerf here. This is the first nerf so far. The reason for this is because the players found a stronger skill well, I forgot that we talked about Paladin. Paladin's also getting nerfed. The reason for this is because the players found a stronger skill rotation than those the dev team was using while making adjustments. That's such a great reason.
They said on the stream that apparently there's no good ninjas in the office. Like, there's nobody on the dev team knows how to play ninja properly.
Oh my god.
They openly admitted that. They're like, we're all garbage ninjas.
Amazing.
Yeah,
that's good.
I mean, that is totally true. Like, as sad as ninjas are, they're broken right now.
Yeah.
Like, they're second in DPS behind samurais, but bring everything that a ninja brings. Like, you want a ninja for Shade Walker, for Smoke Screen, for fucking Trick Attack. Like, they should not be higher than. It's the Dragoon situation, right? They should be around where Dragoon is.
Yeah.
Like, near the bottom.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
RIP. Because Sprint no longer consumes TP, it is easier to use in combat. However, outside of combat, the increased cooldown is inconvenient. Would it be possible to make adjustments such as lowering the cooldown in cities? I have noticed that That is like one of the first things I noticed with Stormblood, because I sprint everywhere. And they doubled, didn't they? Because it's 60 seconds now.
Yeah.
And I believe it was 30 before. And it's really annoying to have like... I keep spamming it and there's 30 seconds left.
It bothered me when it first came out. I'm kind of used to it now, though.
I will never get used to it.
You sound so disgusted.
We increased the effect duration of sprint outside of combat, but it was not as effective as players run between NPCs during quests. We are considering adjustments, but it will take some time.
It's not long enough. 20 seconds. It was if you had full MP, you sprinted for 15 seconds
TP.
before, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, TP. And a 30. So you're able to sprint 50% of the time. Why didn't they make it so? Like, I would be totally fine if it was 30 seconds of sprint and 60-second cooldown.
Yeah.
That seems fine to me. I don't know.
I still don't quite understand why it's on a cooldown at all. But hey, who cares?
Well, definitely
at least
in combat.
Outside of combat. I mean,
yeah.
For PvP, it could be possible to change the system so that you can earn experience points for the job you entered with rather than the job you finished the match with. Would it be possible? I think this would help those who participate in the content for leveling purposes, so they can still change their job inside to meet the need of the party. This idea was on the table when we were making PvP-related adjustments in patch 4.01. We discussed how it will create a situation where players are earning experience points for a job they didn't play, which goes against the entire point of earning experience points. We want some more time to continue discussions regarding this. Yeah, I kind of see that point.
Yeah, I see it too. I mean, at the same time, you can already do that. Because you could go, like, say, like, I mean, you don't even have to go in as a job. You could go in as your favorite job. Like, I love Black Mage in PvP. It's so good. So I could go in as Black Mage. I see somebody's at 1,400 points or the timer's about to expire. There's a beautiful thing called return. It takes you back to the start.
Yeah.
And then you switch jobs and get these. So, I mean, you can already do that.
Yeah.
So while I understand what they're saying, it's stupid to be able to level a job you've literally never played once. Because you could theoretically do that, get it all the way from 1 to 70, and never have played the job. Yeah. But you can already do that, so I kind of
see that, but yeah, why encourage it?
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Okay, so let's see. Due to the large amount of job actions changes in 4.0, some jobs may feel very different when level synced in dungeons level 50 and below. Concerning tanks, in 4.01 it became easier to maintain aggro. Will other jobs see similar changes? Adjusting each job skill according to each level synced low-level dungeon isn't very practical. Dungeons will be undergoing overall adjustments, such as actions used at low levels and the HP of mobs in dungeons. They specifically, I believe, mentioned Aurum Vale as one of the dungeons that desperately needs adjustments, because people just leave that dungeon.
I have not played it since Stormblood. Is it really that bad now?
Apparently, I have not. I have not.
Already terrible.
Yeah, because it was suffering bad in 3.0 and even in 2.0. One would argue.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah, so it's interesting to see that dungeons will be undergoing overall adjustments. So I guess every single dungeon will get adjusted, low level.
I do kind of see how that could happen. Like, for example, I was doing a bunch of I was spamming low level roulette for some crack clusters. So I got into a bunch of different things, and I ended up getting into Tamtara as warrior.
Right.
And I realized you don't have MAME anymore. You have MAME, but you just put up a slashing debuff now.
Right.
So it's like it took way longer than it was supposed to because of that reason. It was like, I'm missing out on doing 20% extra damage the entire dungeon. It's just like it just feels weird. you know? And now you don't get MAME until, or the equivalent of you don't get the MAME status effect till level 50.
That's
shitty.
Yeah, that is shitty. God, imagine if you got Totorak. Maybe at that point. Oh yeah, that's.
Oh no, it was Totorak.
It was Yeah, you
It
do the
was
same thing as I
Totorak.
do. I also confused the two. Well, let's be honest. They almost look entirely the same.
They are practically are the same.
It's hard to get a grip for Alliance raid content, such as the Crystal Tower. Do you have any plans to address this? We were supposed to talk about this like a couple of episodes ago. We're currently working on an Alliance raid roulette aimed for patch 4.1. And finally, players will also be able to make Alliance raid parties across other worlds as well. This is also scheduled for patch 4.1. As for Labyrinth of the Ancients, we're making adjustments so that the party structure will only require 1 tank rather than 2. However, we may not be able to make this adjustment in time.
That's all I care about. I really want a roulette,
Yeah.
but just the fact that there's only 1 tank in Labyrinth now, that is fantastic.
That's good news.
That is the hardest dungeon to do, or raid to do, because of that. Like I was doing quite a few of them during Heaven's Word, right? Because of the ether oil.
Mm-hmm.
You have to run the 3 to get the ether oil.
Mm-hmm.
And the first 2, you get into World of Darkness and Crystal Tower easy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you sat in a queue, and I wouldn't even go on tanks. I would go on like Bard or something like that.
Yeah.
But sitting there for fucking like 35, 40 minutes just to get this. And I'm like, I know people are doing it, but just having the extra tank thing totally screwed the queues up.
Yeah.
So
I feel
to actually do it again, that's awesome.
Yeah, I feel really bad for people that started playing like recently and they want to do Crystal Tower, because it's a very good Alliance raid.
Well,
I mean, visually and for
right.
Final Fantasy 3 players, it's looking back at it now, it is I remember the first time I did Labyrinth of the Ancients and being like blown away.
Mm-hmm.
And then returning to it now, it's like, what the
Hey,
fuck
how do you like
going
Bone
on?
Dragon now?
Yeah, fuck him. Oh, fuck that boss. Yeah, I feel bad for those though, because
Yeah, me too.
what the fuck? Is that an alarm going off? Hold on.
I hear it.
Where the fuck is it though? Oh, there it is. Welcome to Speakers of Eidolon. Anyway, I love how calm everything was. I was just looking at the alarm.
Just letting it happen.
Anyway, I would like the rewards for Seal Rock achievements. This one. But queues take a very long time to pop. Would it be possible to make it so these achievements would be progressible, even in Shatter?
I don't know how they would do that. Like,
because I'm one of those that never got the full outfit. I think I'm missing.
That's
because
that's
sick.
Siege.
Yeah.
That's C's.
Yeah.
Wait, no. What's the other one?
It's the one
Secure.
with. No, wait. Yeah, is that what it's called? I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah. Which the outfit comes from? The outfit comes from the Cardinal Flats, right?
No, it doesn't. It's the one with
It doesn't?
with the tomoliths, the seal.
Oh, okay.
rock.
That's C's then.
That's C's. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I want the same. I want the same thing with Secure as well.
Yeah.
I don't know why they called them all. Why do they have to start them all with S's? Come on.
So
Why you gotta do that? Because I'll be the first one to admit, when I get into those, all I want is achievements.
Yeah.
I feel bad admitting this right now. I'm that person who will go stand by a Tomlith and wait for it to activate so I can be the first one to get it. and in C's, I'll just camp like the thing up top.
Oh yeah.
Or secure.
Secure.
I'll go camp the thing up top and just wait for.
Nice.
I'm sorry.
Oh god.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so they said we're just currently discussing Frontline overall. Currently there are different game modes and oftentimes it is difficult to be matched into the desired mode. We are considering changing the feature game mode every week. However, this means introducing a new rule to the servers. So more time is needed to make a decision. because that's a problem. Because I really want to finish that outfit because I have like half of it and I want the other half. But I can never get into that mode because the queue times are too long, and if you do the roulette, you always get fucking shatter anyways.
Yeah, totally. I think that's a really good idea, honestly.
Yeah. As a Final Fantasy V fan, I was really excited to see how Omega Deltascape was recreated. I'm really curious to find out if there's any backstory for this. Could you please tell us? Thank you. In Final Fantasy V, Omega's lore was set in a way where you didn't know where it came from. Therefore, people thought it came from the void. As for the bosses, they aren't the same bosses from that game, but we did some trial and error to make them fit into 14.
I just want to point out, he says that the bosses aren't the same. He doesn't say that Omega's not the same.
Yeah. That's true.
That's just a theory.
Okay. There's
I know.
copyrighted,
that
probably.
That was a bait. I was just trying to bait you into saying that.
Also, there's a rumor that there will be a V5.0, but there is no V5.0. We did mention that we'll prepare difficulty for those who complete Savage mode of V4.0. However, this isn't V5.0. Did they mention Savage again? Yes, they are. Okay. So, because that was referencing... Yeah, okay. So we're going to talk about that. There's like a Super Savage coming.
Are you guys both doing Savage this time around?
Yeah, I think that's the plan.
We'll see. We'll try.
We're going to try. We're going to give it our best. We are not...
We've already lost one member.
We have lost one member, so we'll see. We'll probably just do it with a party finder. We're used to that.
Yeah.
So, would you guys want to be 5 or?
No, because we'll probably end up just doing part 1 for sort of 4 months and never beat it.
Yeah, that's probably.
Why waste content on V5 when we're never going to get it?
I mean, that's how I feel too. Is like when such a small amount of people are going to see it, why design a whole fight for that? Seems kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be nice. Yeah.
I know they've said that the Super Savage fight could be anything, right? I think didn't they say that before?
Yes.
Or they were saying like it could be whatever. It doesn't even have to be.
It doesn't have to be Omega.
Raid.
It doesn't. Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be like Coil or Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could make like a.
Oh my god! It's going to be Alphino.
Yes.
Alphino Super Savage.
From what fight?
We can finally kill him.
Oh.
Like, what fight are you basing? Are you basing this off of the beginning of Siren Song C? But instead of fighting those like weird little jellyfish things, you just kick the shit out of Alphino on the ship?
Yeah.
God, that would be good.
Let's be honest, that's what everyone wanted. Yeah, it could be like, what if they like brought Twintania back, Super Savage?
That's a good idea.
That would be
That's
awesome.
a really good idea.
I would also like to say maybe this is a good time for Ozma Savage.
Oh
yes,
that's a I forgot about that. Yeah,
they did mention it before.
Yeah, they
or,
did.
Or A3SS. No.
Anyway, let's talk about something more.
Turn 3 Savage, Super Savage.
The blow dart.
Why not?
Just a really hard jumping puzzle. That's all.
Yeah. The blow dart. The blow dart quests were fun. I was going to skip this one, but I realized I started reading it, and now I have to commit. The blow dart quests were very fun. Are there plans for mechanics to return in future content? There were many comments. I love the awkward silence that just sort of fell over us as I started reading this. There were many comments regarding the amazing lung capacity. What am I reading right now? That would be required.
How many comments? I don't recall reading any comments about the amazing lung capacity.
That would be required, piercing the armor and machines, and not being able to land headshots despite hitting the head.
What?
I don't...
What?
Have you heard anyone say any of these things?
No.
Oh god.
Like,
is this a fever dream? I don't understand what...
It feels like it.
Whew. During side quest development, there were discussions to increase the variations of quest gameplay. It is very expensive to have a programmer create something from scratch. So we came up with the blow darts.
Yeah, because it looked like a lot of effort went into those.
We saw a very positive response regarding the unique gameplay available in these subquests. However, we do not have any plans to include them in battle content at this time.
Oh, that would be good.
I believe the original question was that they asked if they could implement them in like raids. I believe it was like,
I think it's necessary.
What? How does this? What? Would you just be like, all right, guys, we're killing a bunch of trash. Hold up, we're gonna snipe some things.
Who's on the blow dart? Who's on the blow dart?
Yeah.
That it could work.
Omega in the eye to continue the fight. Like,
Oh god,
what?
that would be great.
I do agree with chat. That would make a better active time event than some of the ones we have already.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, actually.
But is that really the priority? Blow dart games?
Blow dart active time maneuver.
Okay. All right, guys. Okay. All right.
Okay, there's some here that I'm gonna skip. I'm gonna skip 21.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay, so 20. We're gonna talk about 22 later. No wait. Yeah, we're gonna just skip that
I
one.
want to talk about 22. Well,
Is this? Yeah, no, let's not do that. I really like the area where we had our. I really like the area where we had our showdown with the last boss, and I would like to visit it again freely after the main scenario quest. So we're talking about.
The Royal Menagerie.
Yes. There were many requests regarding this, and the area is actually set up so it has collision and such. However, the area is locked to always appear as evening. We have plans to return there one more time in the scenario. There are
what
other
does that matter? Like, why does it matter that it's locked to the evening? Who cares?
No idea.
It's not an excuse not to go there.
I know, it's like, because there are parts of the actual map as well in the cutscenes where the time changes to fit the scene, so I don't understand that. There are other areas, such as the Archbishop's room, that are only visited in events, which are heavily requested to be visitable outside of quests. They will be considered as well.
I do not remember the Archbishop's room.
Me neither. Is that where his weird throne is? I think that might be where it is.
I don't remember being there.
Me neither.
Why was it weird?
It wasn't weird. It was just it's just a bishop on a throne. It's just something weird to me. But I guess
Final Steps. Yeah, I don't remember that at all.
Jesus, I can't remember that at all. No. I thought initially, of course, I started hyping because I thought this is maybe a clue that Alamigo might. Maybe they'll just make Alamigo visitable. But then, yeah, no, not happening, I guess.
I don't know.
I still think Alamigo is such a waste of a city-state that it's almost like the more time is passing since I've done the main scenario, the sadder I get that they've sort of wasted one of the big city-states in ARCO.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're totally right. Like, it was... At first, I was like, okay, it's not so bad.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the longer it's been, the more I stare at it, the more kind of disappointed I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Because with Heavensward, we got Ishgard, and one would assume that we would get Alamigo as well, but...
And Alamigo was just as much of a... Like, it was... We're not going to let it go. We're never going to let it go.
Never.
It's like just as hyped up, you know? Like, obviously Ishgard was there since 1.0. It was like, hey guys, we're going. Wasn't Alamigo the same thing?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why they did it. Don't know why they did it. We'll never understand it. Anyways, please let us know if you finalize the number of slots that will be added in the second inventory and armory chest expansion. Unless we change from the current method, we do not think we can add any more slots. There are other factors to consider, such as managing inventory through the upcoming app, so this will take a little more time. It will be difficult to implement it by 4.1, but it is not so far off. So this is a very... They said more in the live letter. They basically said that the inventory expansion stressed the servers more than they thought. It's yeah, that's why they're because originally we were supposed to get the next phase of the inventory expansion with 4.1. That's not happening now because apparently their servers just can't handle this expansion or this partial expansion of the inventory. So yeah, basically we just have to wait.
It seems like their servers can't handle a lot of stuff.
It is very strange, this. Why are they not... They have already upgraded the North American data center. Mm-hmm. We all know how that went, and we'll get to why it's so shit, though. But
like, I can't find... Maybe they didn't end up talking about it, but they're adding instances back to the locks, too. So yeah. They were like, yeah, no, we're good. Actually, no, our servers can't handle it. So it seems like they're going back on kind of quite a few things.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll talk about that when we get... I think that's a point here as well, right?
I don't know, yeah.
I believe the instance thing is related to Ixion.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The inventory... Estinian... God. Why did I start reading this? I didn't want to read this. Estinian was really cool. Will there be an opportunity to meet him again? TLDR, yes. The jumping challenge in Kugane was really fun. Can you please tell us how this was created? You know, there are always those questions that I think might be made by Square Enix. I kind of feel like this one might be from the dev team. When I got the request to do the final check on Kugane, I discovered that the team made it so you could only get up about halfway. It wasn't that difficult to create a route to go up higher, but in order to make the stress load from the graphics as low as possible, we had to simplify some parts. We checked over to see whether or not any portion of the graphics were cut off, such as the ocean, and then extended it so you couldn't see this. The background team worked very hard to create this, and I believe it turned out really well. They let me know that players were posting clear videos and were surprised it was cleared in under 40 seconds the next day. I would like to add some more in the future, and I would like to increase the number of jumping puzzle games in the Gold Saucer as well. Yeah.
Does what? Live letter 38, guys. Bigger oceans. You heard it here first.
It's such a weird, mix of, because at some point we're talking about like really important stuff, and then there's this.
Yeah.
And then just immediately following that, I'm a machinist main. I am concerned because despite the difficulty of the rotation and managing the heat gauge, my DPS is not very high. Machinist itself is enjoyable, but in comparison to Bard, it feels lacking in support abilities as well as DPS. Please let us know. Is there any adjustments planned?
Have any of you leveled Machinist yet?
I haven't touched it yet.
So I don't think any of us can really comment on this.
No.
Why is this? Why are there like 20 questions between this and the original adjustment question?
I don't know. It's weird.
Jumping puzzles, then machinist adjustments.
I'm a machinist. I started reading it again. I was about to read the whole thing all over again. Perspectives vary from player to player regarding what they would like to see done for machinists. Due to the current difficulty of heat management and how it is affected by fights, as well as the visible difference between machinist and bard in content, we have made it easier to manage the heat gauge. In addition, we will be raising overall base damage. General adjustments. Hot shot. Increased physical damage effect from 5 to 8%. Increased the heat gauge reduced from 10 to 5. Remove the heat gauge reduction effect from quick reload. Increased Rook overload potency from 400 to 800.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. Increased Bishop overload potency from 300 to 600. And more.
Is that 6? Is it the Bishop overload's AoE, right? Is that a 600 potency AoE attack?
Yeah.
What is with these giant potencies in this expansion?
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's... Wow. Yeah. That's if you're a machinist, this is probably really good news. Okay, so Omega Delta Scape Savage. Since we now have 15 jobs, we've made it easier to obtain equipment. The presentation showcased some of the following new points. Upon completing each version once a week, gear will appear inside the chest. Everyone will obtain tokens that can be exchanged for equipment. parts which can be obtained through each version, and the amount required for exchange varies. Upon completing version 4.0 once a week, a new item will drop which can be used to obtain a weapon of your choice. Players will obtain the weapon for the job they are on when using the item. So it's basically like the job gear thing, like when you... yeah. So,
apparently it's the exact same thing. Like,
yeah.
you can only be able in cities and everything like
Mhm.
that, yeah.
So that's good. So you're... Yeah.
So does that just mean that weapons aren't going to drop?
It drops a weapon as well. They showed a screenshot of the actual. So there's a weapon and that one. So...
And
So you can get both
yeah, you can potentially.
and ruin everything for everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if I'm correct, it's worked out so only weapons that make up your party's composition will drop, right? Like you won't, if you don't have a black mage, you won't get a black mage weapon, right?
I think so, yeah.
So, 2 weapons are going to drop every week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I just realized you can't fuck over your party because you can only get 1 item a week. So
Yeah, I was
obviously,
thinking-
yeah.
Right.
So that's good. So before we move on to the other one, we might want to talk about... Yeah, we did talk about Super Savage, so I guess we'll just move on. The Lost Canals of Uznair. Continuation to Aquapolis, and you can think of it as a level 70 version of Aquapolis with a Thavnarian theme. Materia 6s
Nice.
and other rewards have a chance to drop in the Lost Canals of Uznair. So, I get excited when they mention Thavnair, because
Me too.
I feel like... please don't be... If I swear to God, if they add Thavnair as a fucking dungeon, I'm gonna travel to
I never
Japan and
thought
I'm gonna
about that.
kick some Japanese balls, because that's
I
not
didn't
happening.
even think about that, Lukile. That had never crossed my mind that they might do that.
Oh.
If
Was-
the canals, though, are in Thavnair,
Mhm.
but the only way we get there is through a magic portal in other zones, they might not even add it.
It's on the map. Please.
It's on the map, and they have an embassy in Kugane, so it's an actual place. So there's still
Charlotte.
hope. Oh yeah,
Charlotte and fucking dungeon too.
they're gonna add all other states as fucking.
We've gone back and
dungeons.
replaced every city with a dungeon.
Yeah, you don't even go to.
We're
Ul'dah
removing
anymore.
Foundation. We're removing Ishgard. It's now a dungeon, guys.
Yeah.
Um.
It's just the vault. But now you start outside of the vault. You
Yeah.
get to walk in.
Wow.
Although, as far as the Thavnair stuff, I did not expect it to look anything like the way it looks.
No.
Like, it looks
No.
insane.
Yeah.
It's kind of like sort of Indian almost, or sort of
I thought it looked like it came out of
Malaysian.
a saucer.
It has a gold.
Yeah, it
saucer
looks
feel
just
to
like the
it.
gold saucer, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Like,
It's like an Indian casino.
Dude, I mean, that's very accurate, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's okay.
It's very strange, but it looks cool.
It does
It
look
seems-
cool.
Yeah.
I saw some speculate that some thought they saw more doors, but I think it's only 2 doors. But could there be something else with the... Because I believe under the dev post, I think it said under one of the things that they'd done something to the doors. The way the doors are opened is different now. I might have just misinterpreted that, but
No, I think they did say that.
yeah. So
Maybe it just meant like there's a new animation. I
maybe
don't know.
that might be it.
With weird translations, you don't really know.
Yeah.
It also said
Maybe-
something like there's a new spell in it. And
Yeah.
I don't know I don't know what that means.
Maybe
at
it's like a
all.
duty action that you use in Aquapolis. No, sorry, in the canals. Might be.
What were you gonna say, Maela?
I was going to say maybe the way you open the doors, you could you all get 1 blow dart each, and you have to aim for specific points on the walls, and they glow. And if you all hit, the door opens. But if anyone misses, teleport straight out. I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, actually, as much as that
That
actually would be kind
would actually pretty cool. Yeah, Aquapolis, or the system behind Aquapolis, I feel like they didn't. I don't really need any. It didn't really need a lot of update. I only wanted some good loot in there. It is already a good
Yeah.
system to begin with.
honestly, they could have just updated what loot dropped in
Yeah.
Aquapolis. That would have been totally fine.
Yeah. But hey, we got something new shiny stuff to look at.
Mhm.
It was also important to note that it drops like the that minion, the fish. I can't remember the name of it, but
Amazon?
yeah, that thing.
Is that it?
Yeah, the fish with a bell on around
That's
his
pretty
neck.
cool.
Yeah,
They're pretty cool.
it's probably going to be hella expensive because it looked like it only dropped in the last room. So
Yeah.
A new dwarf bunny.
And
yeah,
I would like to point out that I almost feel like it might be harder to get to the last room this time. Because he says in the thing, he's like, I made it to the last room. Just kidding. I used console debug commands to get to the last room. And I was like, fuck. If he didn't have the patience to do that, then that might be really hard to get there.
I also just realized because it was first posted on the Japanese one, and I used Google Translate there, and I believe it said room 10. Am I?
Ooh.
I
Please no! Oh my god! Imagine the RNG required to get to room 10.
thought he said he did 10 tries.
Oh, it was 10 tries. Okay.
But
Maybe what? Oh god! I hope it's just 7. I hope to the 12 that it's
10
just.
dude, I hope it's
7
5.
Yeah, we've changed it. It's just 2 rooms. You only need 2
Yeah,
rooms.
there you go.
There we
There's
go.
one door as well.
Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
good. Sounds good.
I was gonna say, oh yeah, there we go. I just spoke in Norwegian for like a half a second there. We're I forgot what we're streaming. We're planning the next update to arrive in patch 4.1. So they're actually going to update. I don't know if they just mean updating the items, but
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
They said that they're planning the next update to arrive in patch 4.1, whatever that means.
Maybe they're gonna go 7 floors at launch, 10 floors at that.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Maybe. So separation of field areas in new areas. Since there is a situation where players aren't able to enter an area due to other players waiting for a specific monster to spawn, we will re-implement some instances in patch 4.05. That is the locks specifically.
That's fair enough.
It is
If people
because
are
of
trying to get into this thing.
Yeah, it is because of XXXVIII. It is basically because people are just camping there for like 16 hours straight.
I'm pretty sure half my server is sitting in the logs right now.
And it means that instance server reaches the limit, and poor people, like people trying to complete their main story or whatever, they can't get into the locks because it's full.
I have not seen that. Does it just say you cannot enter?
Yeah, I've
Wow.
seen. Yeah,
Weird.
yeah, that is
That would
absurd.
suck.
Yeah, it's kind of like Rauban Light. It's kind of like the Rauban thing all over again. With the job gauge, we can better manage the buffs. However, we still need to check. Did you fucking hear that? That's fucking Siri again going off. Can you shut up while I'm doing the podcast? My good. What?
Yes, Lukile.
I'm sorry, Master.
She fucking Googled water.
She's trying to tell you she's
Did
thirsty.
you Google it in Norwegian?
Yes, she's directly translated. She thought I said, "Hello Siri of water."
What?
Piece of
Is
shit.
she okay?
She's not okay.
Okay.
She's been broken for
Maybe
a
she's
very
telling
long.
you need to drink more water.
Maybe I'll do this one. Okay. With the job gauge, we can better manage the buffs. However, we still need to check the buff and debuff section of for any specific changes. For some jobs like bards, we need to pay attention to more sections now. Would it be possible to check the procs from the job gauges? We're currently looking into which stats the party members aren't able to see now. Also, we're also working on a simplified version of the job gauge. I believe we should be able to announce the specific details for the adjustments soon. In addition to this, we're receiving comments where the current buff/debuff status information is displayed in a single row, which can be difficult when deciding where to place this. In order to answer players' requests to separate the buff and debuff, and those that aren't related to battle, such as those only for FC, we're looking into splitting this into 3 parts.
I think I'm more on the job gauge side of it. I would I really like that. Like, for example, before I realized I hated Bard and I was never going to play it again, I actually wanted the job gauge to be a dot tracker.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I thought was the more, the likely thing that I was going to go to.
Yeah.
So I would actually like it if they added maybe some basic information. Like, say you get a straight shot proc, it has like a little node that lights up or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you don't have to look at everything all the time.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I agree. But I also
Or like-
yeah.
Well, like kind of like black mages, how when you get foul, the gem lights up.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't have to stare at foul.
And it makes a big loud noise.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah, I mean, because that's what the gauges were for initially. It was supposed to, so you didn't have to like look everywhere, because you would get like a visual indication that ding, this is happening now. So you don't have to like fucking look all around the screen to look for your procs and whatnot. So yeah,
they should absolutely have like a sound that's like, you got a straight shot proc.
Yeah.
Or for my example, I would love it if, you know, like, because I get the noise when I get a Sheltron or something like that, but it would be nice to have like a sound that happens when shield swipe procs, and I can use shield swipe, like something like that. Just, I don't know, maybe like Maela said, like a noise, like kind of like you would hear, because I don't care when my gauge is at 50 and I can use Sheltron. I really don't. When I need Sheltron, I'll make sure I have Sheltron.
Yeah.
So more useful stuff would kind of make sense.
Yeah. But one thing I have to say though, that separating the FC buffs from everything else is a good change.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit annoying.
Honestly, it's not even FC buffs for me. It's the fact that I really hate that, you know, you have your buffs on this side and you have to look pretty much to the opposite side of your screen to see your debuffs. Like that's always really bothered me. If you could just, you know, put your debuffs above or whatever they're gonna do. That's big. I actually like that a lot.
Yeah. Please tell us implementation plans regarding the simplified version of the job gauges that Yoshida mentioned in the previous live letter. I think we can implement this in 4.1. There are quite a lot of requests to adjust the transparency, so we are considering lowering opacity so the UI can be overlaid over characters. We are currently deciding what HUD elements to include in the job gauge. We will then start moving forward with the simplified version. What? Is that the simplified, just an opacity option?
I think maybe without all like the flash, like all this. I don't know. You know, maybe just like maybe like I'm because I'm a paladin, I'm gonna say oath gauge instead of having like the big shield and the sword that's above it.
Yeah,
it could just be a bar, so it's less distracting. I don't really know.
Can't wait to see the simplified white mage gauge. How can they simplify that? Anyway.
I was gonna say that when we were talking about noises. I'm like, do you really need a noise when you get through the...
I already do. I get noises.
No, and that's what I'm saying. But do you need it? Like, is that necessary for you to have whatsoever?
No. In regards to the focus target, would it be possible to add a setting where buff debuff you use are prioritized? Are there any plans to add a setting where you can display the buff/debuff into separate HUD elements? Didn't we just talk about this?
I've been asking for this for so long. I'm so happy.
Along with seeing if it would be possible to separate the buffs, debuffs, and the target information as part of the next adjustment, we'll look into focus target too. Let's see. There's a lot of stuff we can skip here. There's some PlayStation 4 stuff here. It's not really important.
The Party Finder stuff isn't really a big deal either.
No. Do you have plans to implement a UI where we can see the inventory for all retainers at once? The answer was, it creates a lot of stress load on the server to access the data. If we were to download the retainer's data locally, then it may be possible. However, it won't be consistent when looking from a different client. It would be difficult to do more than what we have now. However,
Brace yourself.
We're planning to touch on glamour in the future, and we're planning functions such as accessing glamour history.
Whoa.
We've arrived.
He also they said, I believe they also said like there are major changes coming to the glamour system in addition to this.
That would be the best thing I've ever heard. I'm not even like huge into glamour. I mean, glamour, but like
the glamour system.
Oh my god!
In this game is a disaster.
It's so unnecessarily complicated.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
But at least we're headed in a at least with the glamour history thing. It's a start. But I believe he also said that it could only be done in certain areas, so maybe like through a furniture item, something.
Fine.
Yeah, I mean it's better than nothing, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, you could have like a little fun thing where you're like, oh, I go to a closet and then I can change my clothes. Doesn't make any sense, no, because you can literally just change your shit wherever you want. But that's great.
Yeah,
I would love that. That's better than, hey guys, go buy crystals or make crystals, find a piece of armor. But the armor has to be super specific in what you can wear and why you can wear it. Make sure you have it in your inventory because you're going to need it to glamour something else, which is the worst part, by the way.
Yeah. Okay, I see someone is asking why is like glamour is complicated. What I think it's complicated in the fact that almost every other MMO on the market has a glamour log or a wardrobe of some sort. Where you can save outfits and such. Here, there is no option to do that.
In a lot of other MMOs, say you've received a piece of gear before. Like say you've ran, we'll just take a random example. Say you've ran the Great Library, and you really like the gear look from the Great Library. As long as you've obtained the armor, either maybe you have to put it into your log, or maybe it just automatically gets added into your log once it's been in your inventory. After that, you can just walk up to an NPC or do it yourself, say, this piece of gear that I have had at one point can now be glamored automatically. Like, you don't need to keep it in your inventory, or as somebody's saying in chat, they have one retainer filled with glamour items.
Yeah,
that would alleviate the need for that.
Yeah,
which is like, I would have so much free space in my inventory right now.
Yeah, me too.
Like,
because I can't part ways with certain gear because some of the gear is like you can't even like. Oh God, I have a lot of gear. I have a lot of gear on my retainers, and it's just glamour. I'm never going to use it for, like, I've outgrown them long ago, so it's just for glamour. But as you said, just sort of unlocking them in a log, and then I can just throw away the physical object, so I can just always use it from the glamour log would be nice. Or just transfer it to the log even.
Right, exactly. I would be fine if they still said, hey, you need to buy crystals.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm fine with that because it keeps the economy going, but the fact that the keeping everything on your inventory or in your retainers is just it's so stupid. Yeah. And how they're talking about how they can't increase retainer space because it's too hard. Well, what if 90% of the retainers in the game weren't filled with glamour items?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. This server thing is something we've been hearing since 1.0, and I'm starting to get a little bit tired of it because I mean this is at this point the second largest subscription-based MMO on the market. It's probably time to upgrade your servers like properly this time, because you've kind of shown that you haven't quite done that, and that's so typical Square Enix. I have to give them some. I mean, you can do better. Please give us a fucking glamour log. And fix your shit, please. Okay, speaking of fixing your shit, we're going to move away from the live letter for now. That is everything that was worth talking about there.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, patch 4.05 will be out on Tuesday, so please look forward to that. Okay, so talking about fixing your shit. The North American data centers have not had a good time since launch. And we know, we've talked about this in the previous episodes, but it is because of an ongoing DDoS attack. And it is still going on, and it has sort of elevated. I'm going to read this statement that was issued by Square Enix. We would like to update you regarding the intermittent DDoS attacks by a third party, which have been occurring on the North American data center. As previously announced, we have confirmed that since mid-June, a third party has been targeting the Final Fantasy XIV game servers on the North American data center. Until now, we have been implementing defensive measures at our own facilities to combat DDoS attacks against our Final Fantasy XIV game servers, and have been able to keep the impact to services at a minimum. However, since July, the attacks have shifted away from the Final Fantasy XIV game servers, and the targets have changed to focus on the upper-tier internet service providers, the ISPs, that are required to connect to the data centers. These attacks to the upper-tier ISP networks are causing lapses in communication to the game servers, giving rise to instant disconnects during logins. Because we can no longer combat the situation on our own, we have been in contact with the upper-tier ISPs who have been taking defensive measures sequentially on their end. This implementation has already been effective, however, there is the possibility that the attacks could occur again. Therefore, we seek to strengthen our cooperation with the upper-tier ISPs and continue observing our defenses. We sincerely apologize for the inconvenience this may be causing and ask for your patience and understanding as we work with the ISPs to provide the maximum defense possible. We thank you for your continued support of Final Fantasy XIV. Why are they doing this? I have never understood anything.
I've heard one theory.
What?
I don't know if it's true or not,
But
some people say that it's the South Americans that are getting screwed over from not being able to connect to the NA servers properly.
Right.
That their way of sticking it to the man, I guess. I don't know. That's the only thing I've heard.
So it's South American 14 players attacking the North American data center
because they can't connect properly. Yeah.
Not confirmed.
No.
It's
honestly,
a theory.
I don't even know if it's true or not.
Because I always figured it was like WoW people, like World of Warcraft. I don't know why, but it's
maybe. I don't know.
It happened at launch, so one would think that was. But I mean, still doing it though.
Yeah, I don't understand why you'd still be doing it.
And
It's
sort
been
of,
a month.
And yeah, and even like increasing the attack, like going after the ISPs. Like this is like someone who's really mad at 14 for some reason.
I didn't do nothing. Leave me alone. I just want to play the game. Actually, to be honest, I haven't had any problems with it.
No, it seems like the problem is mostly related at this point for people outside of NA, which we talked about last week.
How does that make sense though? Because they're attacking like ISPs. I assume American ISPs that are needed to connect to the North American data centers, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know why that would be. No, I don't know. I have no idea.
Because I haven't had. Well, actually, that's not true because like my girlfriend was trying to play the other night. She said she like disconnected like 4 times while trying to raid. So maybe it is happening, and I've just been really lucky. It's possible,
Maybe.
but
because apparently, yeah, because I mean, it is apparently a big problem. So, I mean, there's not much to say about it, but other than please stop.
yeah,
There's no point. Like
stop being an asshole.
Yeah, basically, stop being an asshole. I have never understood why anyone would DDoS anything, but hey, except for like, yeah, this is a game. This is a fucking MMO. What do you gain from this? Okay, so let's move on to another issue that we have on 14. We talked about this last week as well. PvP bots. I did a PvP match shortly after we had last week's episode, just to see, and I suddenly started noticing players that didn't act like humans, put it that way, not attacking, and when the match was over, I saw people that had done 0 damage, 0, like all. I'd never seen that before. Then I went on. What?
Would they follow somebody?
Yeah, they would just like go like a massive train of players. And I've seen on Twitter and Reddit pictures of like people spawning into a full match where like everyone is a bot, which must be terrible. I got pretty mad the other day because I got into another PvP match, and it seems to happen later at night. Like I don't see as many bots around peak hours. To be honest, I'm done with my Garo stuff, so I haven't even been doing much PvP lately. But I saw bots, and I went, "That is the exact same bot I reported last week." Right.
And I know other people have reported because half the team was pissed off and were like, "We're reporting this dude." So, are these people not getting banned? Like, are they not? Like, that's what frustrates me is the fact that they really need to actually kick these people, or at least give them like a 72-hour ban for a wake-up call, anything. But the fact that I'm like, that's the same person, I recognize the name, I recognize their character, and yet they're still doing the same thing a week and a half later. Like,
do you think they might have been? Do you think this caught them off guard? Do you think they're like? Maybe they're overwhelmed at this point? Because from what I've seen online, this is a massive problem at this point. Like, because you can end up just never winning a fight because no one's doing anything on your team.
But if you look, I was actually surprised because when I ended up trying to like do a little research on it, this has been happening for actually way longer than I thought. Like before Heavensward came out, before Stormblood came out, there was lots of people botting. Specifically, like it big time started around when the Garo stuff came out.
Right.
Which surprised me because what's the point of bot? I don't understand why you would do that for 500 wolf marks. It seems ridiculous to me. But it's like if they're not gonna get banned, why does the support system even allow you to report them? Like,
and not only that, but the report system is terrible for like reporting. If there's still like,
this is how terrible it is. Somebody in chat just said, "I didn't know you could report anybody for anything other than RMT because it is not self-explanatory."
Because you have to.
Yeah, you can report somebody for cheating. You can report somebody for harassment. They're all different sections.
Yeah.
You don't get any you'll vaguely sometimes get a response, usually only if it's to do with harassment.
Yeah.
And 90% of the time nothing happens. And when it's bots, if it's harassment, I understand. So you have a bad experience with somebody, they don't need to be banned. That's ridiculous. For somebody who's fucking cheating and hacking your game, manipulating the client.
Yeah.
It's kind of like unacceptable if you ask me.
And especially because it ruins the gaming experience for paying customers that are actually
up to 23 other people at once.
Yeah.
Also, like
it is, yeah. And I mean,
sorry, not even 71 people at once. It could be.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at like we talked about this last week, but they posted I think every week they post how many accounts they ban, but that's only for RMT.
Yeah.
So
this seems like a bigger issue than RMT to me.
Yeah,
because RMT doesn't bother me.
Do they not? Do they not care about EXP botting? It does seem like it because I see other people commenting in chat that they also like bots that they've reported several times still there.
Yeah,
but I think What? So
there was a thing where I believe it was during one of the live letters or something. Yoshido was in the game showing off the PvP stuff, or I can't remember when this was, but he caught a black mage botting on like while he was doing it, and he basically said, "Don't do that, bad boy."
What the fuck?
They caught the same black mage like a month and a half later, still playing the game, still botting. Like they don't care at all. It's very weird to me.
Yeah, but
this guy was botting not in PvP too. He was botting like
it was one of those the leveling bot. Oh my goodness.
No, it wasn't even. He was botting actual content. And they don't care.
It's but this has been an issue forever, I guess, because this has happened since The Realm Reborn. You know, I still remember seeing, you know, people underground. You could see the top of their head just like teleporting through the ground and reporting them, and then just seeing them a few weeks later doing the exact same thing, only they're 20 levels higher.
It happened in Heavensward too. Didn't somebody clear one of the Savage raids because they hacked their characters and went just a little bit off the ground, and all raid-wide AoEs wouldn't hit them?
That was the thing. Yeah,
stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of people cleared content that way. I know a couple of that actually knew. There was a very specific person I knew that did. No one on this podcast, but that
it was me.
We had someone in our free company that basically did that, and he cleared every single content in the game that way. Cleared. I say cleared because I don't see how you clear it, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he still plays today. So I guess I haven't. He's not in our free company anymore, but I would assume it's because he was in our free company a long time after that, and they didn't care. I might have reported him.
I don't blame you. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
I hope eventually they start doing something about it. Great, but now that we've mentioned it, you'll absolutely notice.
You'll
be
notice
like,
it now. Yeah. Take a
"There's
look.
People following that one guy.
Yeah. It's it seems to have escalated quite rapidly though. Because
Have you encountered any Maela?
I don't. I haven't been in PvP for.
You have to do PvP. You have to experience this meme before it's
Yeah, true. True.
Then watch. I'll play like 40 games and not run into a bot and be like,
Yeah.
"What are you guys talking about?
What the fuck?
I just played PvP for nothing."
I came here for bots. There are only people here. Okay. So please look forward to more bots in the future. Let's move on to the next, the last part, which is interesting. Polygon recently published an article with the following headline: Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood's toughest quest has some fans calling for nerfs. Oh boy. To win against... Oh, so this is... this is a quote from the article. To win against the giant enemy dragon, players will have to stay stable on a floating platform, avoid waves of additional enemies, fill up a bar as quickly as possible, and even work with a teammate they've been suddenly chained up to. It's grueling, just as you'd expect an endgame boss to be. But is it too hard? An outspoken group of players on the game's official forum and Reddit thinks so. Quote, I'm not saying subjectively right or wrong that the Royal Menagerie, how do you pronounce that? Menagerie, end of Stormblood story mode trial should be nerfed, but objectively it screams nerf. Reads the opening post of a lengthy thread on the trial. Square Enix...
I want to point out, this person has no idea what objectively means.
No. Square Enix can't have an instance at that difficulty as a part of story mode because it's going to gate people from content. Same logic behind Steps of Faith. They will lose subs otherwise, and it's bad for business. Steps of Faith, a trial from the main game, was similarly criticized for its required precision. After players cried foul, Square Enix patched the fight to reduce several enemies' HP and damage, which made it at least a bit easier to complete. Another quote, it gives the general impression that there is an enormous cliff-like fall-off in ability between the people that hammer into the content at the start of a patch and the people sauntering into it a couple of weeks later, a player on Reddit said, for the battle. I wouldn't want to be the developer that has to try and design content for such a wide berth. Players on the higher end of the scale think the difficulty is just right for a late-stage battle. Every thread of someone asking for a nerf or bemoaning the Royal Menagerie? I will never be able to pronounce this one. Challenge is met with a vast number of contradicting replies. Quote, I feel Square Enix caves too much on lowering difficulty of fights, another popular thread begins. I believe they should stand firm and let this fight should serve as a training system for players that want to be lazy and not do mechanics. The real solution might be toughening it out, according to some. This is purely a community issue, a player said. Steps of Faith was not nerfed because it was too hard. It was nerfed because half of every party would leave instantly. Many players who couldn't clear it were only unable to because they couldn't find a party who'd stay. It was nothing to do with their skill level. The reason these challenging trials are blocks is because a significant portion of the community refuses to waste their time to help others who are struggling. So before we get to the last part there, okay. So there's the gist of that article, and so it shows how the situation 14 is in, and I've always sort of felt like 14 has over the years catered to the casual players a bit too much. I'm not saying that I'm a hardcore player, but I'm not that casual that I want that fight to be nerfed.
I think the most absurd thing about that is comparing Steps of Faith to Shinryu is kind of absurd to me. Steps of Faith, actually, I don't think it was nerfed because too many people were leaving. It was a byproduct of the fact that you miss a dragon killer, you're not going to beat the fight. You have to wait 10 minutes for it to walk to the end before you could restart.
Yeah.
A huge waste of everyone's time.
Yeah.
The fact that it wasn't about having to learn a fight. You didn't have to learn anything in Steps of Faith. You just walked along. You got 2 people to shoot cannons and 1 person to run to the top of a tower and press a button.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's the snares in there too.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like hard mechanically. So there was nothing to learn. It was all about just making sure everybody did something right, and it was like kind of just annoying, super long, a bullshit fight. It sucked.
Yeah.
Shinryu is completely different in the fact that I saw that.
There's a fucking
Is there a bug
daddy
in your room?
longlegs flying around here.
Yeah, okay, tidal wave sucks and it usually wipes the first, the first time it goes off, half the people fall off the edge.
Yeah.
Okay, well then you restart and you go, hey guys, now we know what tidal wave does. Let's walk to the edge and not get knocked off by tidal wave. Like, you can actually learn the fight. And yeah, does it suck wiping 5 or 6 times on a fight? Sure. Is it that big of a deal? Absolutely not. I'll put it this way. And actually, the question, I don't remember. I think it's like 21 or something. The question was like, is it comparable to a single player game? How many final bosses? You've played a lot of Final Fantasy games. How many final bosses did you beat first try with no guide, nothing?
None. I don't think I've ever done that.
Right.
Yeah, and I didn't. Yeah, that's a good point. You don't cry to the developer asking for a patch to nerf a single player game, so right. I don't see why you should in an MMO.
Right. Especially when it's the end of a huge expansion.
Yeah.
Like it's theoretically it's the end of the game.
Yeah.
It's not, but it's the end of the game that they sold you for $40. So shouldn't it be even slightly hard at all?
I mean, yeah, again, talking about like the difference between Steps of Faith and the Shinryu fight. The Shinryu fight is actually fun. And
yeah, exactly.
It feels like a proper conclusion to the main scenario, and it's and it should be hard. I would be really upset if that was a piss easy fight that was done in like 5 minutes. But and I don't. I understand casual players. I mean, understand casual players. I wouldn't even call these casual players. I would call these just lazy, like lazy players, because this is like. Yeah, calling.
If you wipe on something once and you're gonna leave, you're lazy.
Yeah.
If you have no drive to try something a second time and to learn, then you don't want to beat it. Like, like, like if you can't get past a boss fight in a game,
do it until you get past it. You will eventually get past it. It's not like
don't play the game.
Or don't play the game.
like if I don't play Dark Souls and attempt to like cry because I can't beat a boss because I suck at Dark Souls, so I'm just not gonna play Dark Souls anymore.
And I don't. And it's not to be like
that I need an easy mode.
And it's not like being condescending, because this you don't. I think everyone can clear this fight. They just have to try.
I've carried people through it before.
Yeah. So.
Like I did it recently. There was a bard doing 300 DPS. How that's possible, I'm not sure. But he was doing 300 DPS, died to every single mechanic.
Yeah.
He got his clear. Like, you don't have to be the peak of your job. People are treating it like it's savage.
Yeah.
Like, they really are. They're like, it's so hard. It's a savage fight.
Yeah.
It's not. It's really not. Like, if 4 people know what they're doing, you've cleared the fight.
Yeah.
Like, that's really it.
Well, we have good news. Yoshi P in the live letter today said there are no plans to nerf this fight at all. So we win. We win this one, guys. Because I'm all for nerfing it when it's old. When it's like, let's say a couple of patches from now, fine, you might do some tweaks to it to make it easier to get through. But doing it now, while it's like current content, that would be insane. And that would sort of set a very unfortunate, like, it would...
Like, did you guys have any trouble with this?
No, not really.
No, I did. I cleared it on the first run with our group. I died like 2 times, but it's so forgiving.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Don't matter.
Yeah. Same thing for me. I
think I died like once. Because, yeah, but that's part of... You can't know the fight because it's the first time you're doing it. So you can't expect to know the fight the first time you go in. Yeah.
Do I admit it's probably harder than like some of the normal mode raids? Probably.
Yeah.
It's got more mechanics, but it's the end of a game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a boss. It's an actual boss fight. Like, that's all I think that needs to be said. It's not, some mid-game thing. It's the final boss fight.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say. It's supposed to be hard, and it's not so hard. It's ridiculous. It's just, I don't know. I've joined to help people. I've wiped 3 times. I don't get mad, or it doesn't bother me. It's like, okay, I see these people learning. I've never ever disbanded a party on that fight. I've never had to straight up just leave, or I've never like left. I've never had to vote abandon.
No.
None of it. It's like totally fine.
I've had people leave just instantly, and that's a bad sign. That's the first like
That is it.
Yeah, that is a thing that's happening. It's almost always the tanks as well, I'm noticing. But I think that's a whole other issue, because I think tanks
there's a reason.
Yeah, they take their queue times for granted. So for them, it's like, okay, I'll just fuck that.
That's not even the entire reason. But I don't get it.
Yeah. Oh Jesus, we've reached the end. On time as well. Thank you to I think that's it, right? Yeah. Thank you to everyone for watching this week's episode of Speakers of Eidolon. We will be back next week. Make sure to follow us on everything. Discord as well. If you're in chat, that's !Discord. If you want to be a moderator, send any of us. You can probably send Maela or Yazz a DM too if I'm not on. If you want to be a moderator, and or send us an email at gmail.com/speak. No. That's not how Gmail works. Speakersofeidolon@gmail.com, not gmail.com/speakersXIV. You can try, but I don't think you'll get very far. I'm Lukile Bravestone. I'm joined by Yaspot and Maela Vanadar. We'll be back next week. See you then, guys. Bye. Thank you for watching this episode of Speakers of Eidolon. If you want to watch the show live, the show runs live every Saturday at 7 p.m. GMT, 12 p.m. PDT on twitch.tv/speakersofeidolon and on youtube.com/speakersxiv. If you want to support the show, consider pledging to our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/speakersxiv. Thank you.